I'd said to myself, like, yeah, I'm not going to record any more videos. I really want to sort of clear myself out and break this attachment to this a certain um, pattern of drama in me. But then Kim just posted a really cool video about duality, and I know there's going to be more. And I just thought, like I've just been through a really significant experience, really consciously going into duality and everything. I thought, well, it'd be good to just sort of document my experience in there because, it's easy to talk about a subject sort of intellectually, from a distance, but I'd just like to share my experience from being like right inside duality. And, it was with a certain amount of consciousness too. Oh, pussycat's down there. Um, so, uh, so there just sort of was this point where after the tree fell on the bus and I went into like, major shock and trauma and everything, um, I had to sort of initially I had to sort of some people were sort of offering insights into, what I needed to learn about that experience or, aspects of my psychology. And I really needed to put up a boundary there because I was just like in shock, I just wasn't capable of dealing with it. But then there came like this hazy turning point where my ego stepped in and was kind of like, yeah, we're onto something, like a real, um, some kind of ultimate belief here that, it's wrong for people to challenge your psychology. So eventually my ego took over, and I can't tell you exactly when it happened because it was a really slippery sort of, it was already there before this experience, but it kind of slipped in, kind of like going, yeah, here's an opportunity, I'm going to go with this one. And so, I had this belief. It's a dualistic belief that it is wrong. It is wrong that people challenge your psychology. I could probably say it in different ways, but that will do. Okay. So, wrong is that key word. You know what I mean? Like it's a dualistic because, there's a right way, which is people, you know, stay out of your business. This is all designed to protect this self, this self in me that had this belief. And so I had to hang on to this belief. And so what it was like, and this lasted a couple of months where I really, all of a sudden everything revolved around justifying, like every single challenge. And challenges came from all sorts of different directions, from all different people in different ways. But my whole MO was to justify my belief, my worldview that, challenging psychology is wrong. And, you know, it used up a lot of energy doing that because, I couldn't just like flow with life, everything was just about, and this happens with anyone in duality, which is every single one of us, we do this, we go into duality and we invest all of this energy into upholding a mental box. It doesn't matter how much you've gone into, raised in consciousness. Like most of us, there's very few people in the world who don't, yeah, I think we're all dealing with it, So what happens is for me, it was like, the moment I did that, I got inside a mental box. It was like having these four walls all around me. And then each time I had to, go into this detailed justification for, why to uphold this worldview that, all challenges on psychology are wrong. Like, it was like, I was just bringing these walls in closer and closer. And it was like, like in those superhero shows or Get Smart or whatever, and, they're trapped in like a room and the walls are like slowly, closing in on you. And you've just sort of running out of time, like the clock's ticking over and, you're going to get crushed and everything. That's kind of what it was like. Like, these dualistic walls were just moving in on me closer and closer. And, it was very stressful. Like, I got to a point where I realized, I wasn't feeling good about this. I knew the flow of love had to be stemmed off in my heart, but energetically, I didn't enjoy it. I felt like I just felt really serious, and, I wasn't sort of flowing with life. I wasn't feeling happy. I wasn't feeling happy. Like, it was just kind of annoying. Yeah, became really annoying. And eventually, I just popped it. It just popped open, and it was like, I think all the groundwork that had been done through, healing so much of my psychology, clearing so much energy, developing such a good connection with the masters and with my I am presence and everything, that I could feel that flow like dissipating. But I knew it was there. That's the thing. And all I had to do, it's kind of like, you're in those walls, those four walls. All I had to do was look up and find that answer, reach up for the masters, for the teacher. And just, it was like, help me out of here. I don't want this experience anymore. I'm done. And it came, and I don't think I need to talk about how that came in this video. Like, this video is just about what it felt like to be in duality, and it was just not nice at all. It caused me a lot of suffering. But I'm glad I went into the experience so that I can come out on the other side and go, oh, good, I know the feeling of it. I can identify that now, and because I observed it with a bit more consciousness than the unconsciousness in the past, subconsciousness. And I can sort of see, like, it also helps me to see with like empathy for when other people are in duality and everything, and realize, there's actually nothing you can really say once, the dualistic justifications come, because it's all about defending, an aspect of the ego that's trying to protect, a wounding inside and everything. And when they're ready, they'll wake up from it, but you're never going to win a dualistic argument. It's impossible. So I'm grateful for going in there, into that experience, and so I can share it with you. And I've got it there as a reference point for future experiences. So that's it. Thanks.